So if you want your Instagram, your Facebook, your TikTok, your YouTube, any other social channel out there to all have the same name as your website name, you should go. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany and I'm the owner here at Little Birdie Digital Agency. You are watching my series Starting a Business 101 that is going to take new small business owners through every single step in starting a new business in any industry. In this video, we are going to be going over the steps for searching for and purchasing your website domain for your small business website. We're going to hop over to my computer so I can show you exactly what to do on my screen. But first, I want to go over a few things that you might need to consider before choosing your domain name and actually purchasing it. So one of the first things I like to tell people that is very important to consider before choosing and purchasing your website domain name is whether or not you're going to be using that same name in your social channels. So if you want your Instagram, your Facebook, your TikTok, your YouTube, any other social channel out there to all have the same name as your website name, you should go and search on those platforms to make sure that those names aren't already taken. So go to Instagram, go to YouTube, go to TikTok, see if the username that you want to use is already taken on one or any of those platforms. And if you want them all to be the same, then you'll want to just keep searching until you find a username that is available on all of them. And then you can go search and see if that domain name is available. So it might take a little bit of time to find a name that is available everywhere. If you have kind of a generic name or something that other people might have, if you're using a pretty unique business name, it might not be that hard. But you're going to be wanting to do a little bit of searching to make sure that you can get that same name on all platforms. And while you're doing that searching, go ahead and lock in those names. So if you're on Instagram searching for a username, and you find one that works on all the platforms, go ahead and create that Instagram. You don't have to set it up yet, but claiming the username before anyone else can get to it might give you some peace of mind that it'll still be there later when you're ready to set up those accounts in one of my next videos. The next thing to consider when choosing a domain name is whether or not you want to use your business name or your personal name. And this will kind of depend on the industry that you're in. So if you're in the wedding industry and you're like a wedding photographer or videographer or a wedding planner even, a lot of people in those kinds of industries use their actual personal names as their business. So going back to the previous video where we registered our businesses as legal entities, you might just want to use the legal business name that you registered as your domain name and social media channel names, or you might want to form a DBA, doing business as, to conduct all of your business under, to create your business domain name and your social channels. So if you haven't already decided, think about how you want to do business. If you want to do it under your personal name, or if you're going to be doing business under an official business name. And then once you've decided that, it's important to consider if there are any words or phrases in your domain name that may be commonly misheard or misspelled. If you're going to be telling people your domain name via voice, people might mishear you and type in the wrong thing in the domain or type in the wrong thing in Google, and they won't be able to find your website. So think about that. If you're going to be telling people your website name by talking, you might want to avoid any words or phrases that can be commonly misheard. And then if people are going to be manually typing in your domain name to visit you instead of just clicking on links that you provide, you might want to also avoid any words or phrases that are commonly misspelled. And finally, the last thing to consider is what type of ending that you will want on your domain name. And we'll get into this in a second when I show you how to purchase and register your domain name, but there are tons of different endings that you can choose from. In the past, it used to be that your domain website name had to end in .com, .org, or .net, and those were pretty much the only options. But now there are actually like over 300 domain name endings that you can choose from, and some of them get pretty creative. So going back to the wedding photographer example, there actually is a .photography ending. So let's say I, Brittany Cole, wanted to start a photography business. I could essentially create a domain name, brittanycole.photography. And I think that's pretty cool and pretty creative, but .com is still the industry standard pretty much across all domains and all industries. So just think about if you want to get creative with your URL or if you want to stay with the standard and the norms. And things are changing, in the next 10 years, .com may not be the standard and the norm. So thinking about those things before you go and search and register your domain will help you get it done quicker. Okay, so now that we've gone over those few things to consider, let's hop on over to my computer screen and we'll walk through some stuff together.
Okay, so the first thing that I want to show you guys is that when you go to Google just to type in purchase domain to find a place to purchase a domain for your website, there are a ton of options. So there's really a lot of different places that you can go to buy a domain name for your website. You can purchase directly from Google. You can purchase from GoDaddy. It's a very popular website to purchase from. If you're going to be hosting with Bluehost, you can purchase directly from them or any other hosting place that's going to be hosting your website. And if you're doing an e-commerce store, you can purchase directly from websites like Shopify or BigCommerce. Pretty much anywhere you're going to be hosting your website, you can purchase domain name from. But there are really just a ton of options. And my personal preference is to purchase domain names from Google. I like Google's software. I like the backend that they have set up and the the interface, the user interface that they have once you purchase your domain. All the different options that they have to kind of manage your domain, set up users, set up Google Gmail for your email that will go along with your domain. All those different kinds of things. I just really like the platform that they have set up behind their domains. And so that's why I purchase my domains from Google, but again, there are a ton of different places to buy it from, and depending on where you're going to be using your domain, that's how you should decide where to purchase it from. But today I'm going to show you, it's all pretty much the same no matter where you purchase your domain name from. The searching and the registering, the steps are all pretty much the same, but I'm going to be going through the steps on Google domains. So you can search for it on Google, or you can just go directly to domains.google.com. And this is what it's going to look like for you when you pull up Google Domains. And it's really easy. So you just go to the search bar here and you type in some ideas. So if you're not sure what you want your domain name to be, it's really easy to search for some options. Or if you're pretty sure what you want it to be, you still have to search for it just to make sure that no one else has used that domain before or that it's not taken. So we're just going to go ahead and search for any domain. For me, we're going to do my business name. I'm going to do Little Birdie. And another cool thing about buying your domain on Google, not all of the other domain purchasing sites offer up to 300 domain endings. So if you're not sure what a domain ending is, it's just like the .com, .net, .org, whatever you want at the end of your domain. And Google has up to 300 of those. So they have a lot of different creative endings that you can choose from, like .photography, .purchase, .me. I mean, there's so many. We'll go through them in a second. But I personally am interested in looking into .agency since I own an agency. So once I have what I kind of want to search for, we'll just see if this is available. You can click Get It. And this will pull up whether or not that exact thing I searched for is available, and also a bunch of different options. So whether or not it's available, they'll offer me a few different things to choose from too. So, and they also offer insights. So if you're looking for a new domain name, they have things that are important to keep in mind when you're choosing. So I searched for littlebirdie.agency, and that exact match, that exact URL actually is available for $20 a year. And they're giving me some insights here saying that the name isn't too long, so that's cool to keep in mind. A long name might be bad or hard for people to remember, so they're telling me this is a good domain, it's not too long. And if I scroll down a little bit more, they're giving me some other options. So littlebirdie.com is not available, littlebirdie.net is not available, but .org is, .florist is, and I can scroll down to see some other endings or some other options. So Little Birdie Song, Sing Little Birdie. So if I wasn't 100% sure what domain name I wanted to buy, they're providing me some other options down here. Maybe I'm interested in littlebirdie.song.us or Tiny Birdie. I'm not, but they kind of use some AI to determine what other domain names you might be interested in. And you can sort these by relevance. You can sort them by price. Most lower end domain names are $12 a year with Google, but some of them are more expensive. So if you sort by price, if you're seeing a lot of expensive ones, like down here, these ones are $80 a year. So some are more expensive. But if I want to search for anything with Little Birdie, just a different ending, I can come up here and click all endings. And then it's going to show me Little Birdie dot a bunch of different things. So littlebirdie.agency, littlebirdie.pw, .fr, I don't know what some of these mean, but I mean, there's so many. So depending on what your business is in, you might be interested in getting one of these unique endings, or you could just stick with .com, which is kind of the standard across all industries. But I think some of these are pretty cool, especially if you're a photographer. There's .photography, or .photos. They have .education if you do courses. .graphics, .lighting, .soccer. I mean, there's so many. You can just scroll through them, and most of them are anywhere from $12 to $30 a year for your domain. But we're going to go back to the results, and since the one that I actually searched for, littlebirdie.agency, is available, it's really easy. You can either save it to your favorites if you're not ready to buy it now, or you can click the cart button right here to add it to your cart. And now littlebirdie.agency has been added to my cart, so I'm going to go buy it. So come up to the cart here, and then it's going to show you the domain that you put in your cart, how much it is for a year, and then you have an option. You can just buy it for 1 year, or you can buy it all the way up to 10 years. For this example, we'll just do 1 year. But if you're going to be in business for a long time, you're going to be renewing it every year anyway. If you can pay to buy it now, buy it all for 10 years now, why not? And then they're going to give you some options here for privacy protection and auto renew. Definitely leave privacy protection on. That's just good to keep your information private. It's no extra cost, and it just keeps your personal information off the internet of who registered this domain. You're not going to get as many spam or like any spam emails because your information isn't going to be out there. So definitely leave privacy protection on. And then I like to leave auto renew on, because then if I forget, my domain doesn't automatically just like delete after a year. Like, it'll automatically charge me this $20 every year. So I like to leave that on, but it's up to you whether you want to just remember to pay it again in a year, or if you pay for the full 10 years up front, you might not need to leave auto renew on. You can come back in 10 years and turn auto renew on. So really just like whatever your situation is, you can decide if you want to leave that on. I'm going to leave it on. And then the big thing, another really big reason why I like to buy my domain names from Google, is because I like to use Gmail for my email services. So right here, when you're purchasing your domain name, you have the option to also add on Google Workspace, which is where you can set up your emails and set up your groups, set up access to other Google products like Google Drive, Google Sheets, Google websites. Like, Google has a ton of different products, and if you're going to be using those in your business, most people do, signing up for Google Workspace is great, and adding that onto your domain name is a really easy way to get that done. And they have a couple different options. They have Business Starter, Business Standard, and Business Plus, and I've found that the $6 a month Business Starter is plenty for me, and for any small business really. So I'm going to go ahead and select the Business Starter, and they're going to add that on to my domain for $6 a month. And then since I've done that, they're going to give me the option to create my email address here. So since the domain name that I purchased here is littlebirdie.agency, I'm going to create an email address that's going to be whatever at littlebirdie.agency. So this is going to be my personal, professional email address that's going to link up to my domain, but it's going to be through Gmail. So when I go to log into my email and I check my email and respond to emails, I'll go to gmail.com, but I'll log in with my domain name, my professional email address, if that makes any sense. So it's all through Gmail, the Gmail you're used to using, you know and love, but you have the professional email address. So it can be anything that you want. Just type in, the name that you want to go along with it, and your whatever email. So for this example, just use my name. So this, in this spot, this is important to keep in mind. If you are going to be starting a YouTube channel, this is the name that you put in the first name and last name section. That is the name that is going to show up as your YouTube channel name. Since Google owns YouTube, if you are going to be using this email address to start a YouTube channel, make sure you put whatever you want your YouTube channel name to be in the first. So if, for example, if I wanted my YouTube channel name to be my business name, so like Little Birdie Agency, that's what I wanted my YouTube channel name to be, I would need to put my first name as Little Birdie and my last name as Agency, so that my YouTube channel name showed up as that. You cannot go into YouTube and change your channel name. It has to be the name of the Google email address that you use to create the account. So think about that now. If you plan on now or plan on in the future ever creating a YouTube channel with this email address, make sure you set the first and last name to what you want your YouTube channel to be. I'm just going to change it back to my name, but if I were to create a YouTube channel with this email address, my YouTube channel name would now be Brittany Cole. Now the username down here is just the name that goes in front of your domain. So like if this was at gmail.com, it's going to be Brittany@gmail.com, but it's my domain, so it's Brittany at Little Birdie Agency. This doesn't affect anything. You can put whatever you want here. It's just whatever you want your email address to be. That doesn't change any YouTube name, doesn't change anything else. That's just your name. So usually people like to use their name or their business name. So put whatever you want there. And then you want to allow this account to manage your domain settings, because this is going to be your admin account for the domain that you just purchased. And then you're going to go ahead, once all that's set up, go ahead and click checkout.
All right, and that's it. You have officially purchased your website domain name and you are ready to set up your website. Hop on over to my next video where we'll walk through exact steps on how to do that. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you like this video and want to get alerted each time I upload a new video to the series, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell on this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.